will use only for 5 minutes. But that
Mm.
5 minutes become 5 hours, and we could not know.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, and when you start questioning them, then you can tell, and you can start they're staggering, and they're like, okay, yes, but this, that. Then it's sort of they know that the game's up, and we have to move on to someone else.
Many of us are able to read and write in English or have learned English in school, but we were not taught how to be conversant. Cambly is one such platform where you can do so. You might have seen me talking about Cambly's one-on-one live classes earlier, but this time Cambly has launched group classes. It is the only learning platform that helps you practice your English with native speaking tutors from the USA, UK, Canada, and many more countries. In group classes, there will be two more students just like you who are on the similar journey of improving their English. Make the most of the New Year launch offer with discount up to 45% for long term plans, valid for this month only. Let's enjoy the session.
Oh, hello. Sorry about before. Actually, what happened was my Wi-Fi went, and I just couldn't get it connected again, so I had to miss the lesson. So sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't know what happened.
what happened? What happened? What
Yes.
happened?
No, no, it's just that thing. I just couldn't get back in touch with you.
Okay, then I
Yeah.
went through the schedule and I got like yesterday. Tomorrow you are
Oh,
available. I just booked one
oh,
session.
thank you very much. Anyway, nice to see you again. So tell me, so where are you right now? Where are you?
I'm in my room. Yeah.
All right, in your room. Okay, yes, yeah. So
Yes.
what else is going on? What's the latest news in India? Which part of India did you say you live in? You live in what
Northern
was the name? Yeah, the northern part, yeah. So what's the weather like nowadays there?
weather, it's getting warm these days. A little bit.
Okay.
Just
All right.
a week back, it was freezing here. It
Yeah.
was like 4, 5,
Hmm.
6. But this time we are feeling little comfortable. It's like, it went around, yeah, 16, 17, 18, something like that. I'm
All
not sure.
right. So
I haven't
good,
checked it
good.
out. But feeling
Yeah.
comfortable, as you can see, just I'm having only, t-shirt.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, lovely. So the weather is changing then. So do you prefer what's the hottest you get it there though? It gets really hot in the summer.
It goes to like 45
Mhm.
maximum, only
Yeah,
for
45.
2 days
Okay.
or 3 days,
Oh,
you
that's
know.
not bad. Yeah.
45.
Yeah. Oh, no, okay, good. So tell me what else. I mean, what else do you like to? Because you were asking me some questions. You said you like to ask questions about different. Do you have any
I
questions
forgot
you want to?
actually what I was asking yesterday.
Okay, then. How about what we do? We could use our random generator, which I like to use because it sort of varies with questions rather than ask the same sort of questions every time. So I'm just going to open this up now. 1 second. Right. Okay. So would you say music from the past is better than modern music? What type of music do you like? Are you a type of
Uh,
person?
I think, see, I'm not fond of music, to be very honest. I
No.
don't listen songs
No.
and all. But yeah, what I realize the difference between past and modern days music actually, what I feel like earlier it was good.
Hmm.
Music in the sense what you want to say,
Yes.
the voice or just like the script.
I think you could say both, really. I mean, because there's variations in both.
Script earlier it was superb, okay, the
Yes,
meaning,
that's
but
true.
these days it is getting changed. It is
Yes,
getting modern as well,
yes, yeah. And so I find sometimes it's quite senseless. I don't know, maybe it's just older
Exactly.
generations of, going to that. But even when my children, they show me these memes. You get these memes that they have on it. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, what's so funny about this? And like, Ma'am, you haven't got a clue. I'm thinking, oh gosh, there is that generation gap I feel now. I never
Exactly.
thought of that before. But then I don't know, is it me or is this how every generation goes through this perhaps? But
I'm also a person of this generation, but I
yeah.
don't like this, modern era actually, the way they are indulging towards it. Like, as you gave the example of music, the
Mm,
meaning of those songs, and
yeah.
sometimes, and not sometimes, many times it becomes senseless.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So,
But yeah, that's how it is. So when it comes to social media now, when we talk about the usage of phones and whatnot. Do you think it has affected your life drastically when it comes
Social
to,
media.
yeah, social media, usage of phones? What do you see around you now, amongst your generation of youngsters? Do you think we've changed in personality? Do you think it has affected us in any way?
Of
Hmm.
course, it had, affected. Actually, everyone is having a smartphone this time. Once they
Exactly.
get into 10, 10 mean 10th is standard, or
Mm.
sometimes below 10, they
Yeah.
need a smartphone. Like, mom, I need a smartphone to attend my online class. I need a smartphone to do this, do that, and many more things. But
Hmm.
just if you talk about a few years back, where I was in standard 10, so that time I did not have a smartphone. I was just
Hmm.
studying textbook. I was just, going to coaching and all, and I was getting the education. So
Hmm.
what I was getting that time, I was not spoiling my time. With the help of a smartphone, I'm getting classes. This is true. I'm getting some advantage, but being a teenage, my mind sometimes diverts. And what I start doing is just I start scrolling, like, unnecessarily. This is not for
Yes.
me, or I feel like, yes, this is for quite entertaining for me, and I'm enjoying it. What
Yes.
I feel like I will use only for 5 minutes, but that
Hmm.
5 minutes become 5 hours, and we could not know.
Exactly.
Like, oh my god, I have been using a smartphone for 5 hours.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So, where do you see the future? What can you see is going to happen in the future? I mean, it does it seem very bright? I know technology has its positive side, and we can see lots of advantages. But do you think it outweighs the disadvantages? What do you think?
Of course.
Hmm.
A couple of sessions back, I was just talking about the same thing, the advantage and disadvantage of technology.
Hmm.
So, obviously, there are advantages, and we need a smartphone and social media and
Hmm.
technology the way we are going. If we want to be the part of this century or like this generation, we
Yes.
have to we have to adopt these things. We
Hmm.
don't have other option. If we start living without these things, so we will go back. So
Yes.
we can
That's
see
true.
a huge
I
difference
agree.
between them and between us.
Hmm.
But what we have to do, we have I'm so sorry.
Are you okay? No, no, are you okay? Do you want to take some water?
Actually, just a few days back I had cold.
Oh, yes. Hmm. In the winter months, I think we all have our colds and coughs and whatnot.
Yeah. What I was saying, I forgot. Okay,
In
huh.
regard to, yeah, social media and how we're evolving.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. So what, that time what happens, we have to be careful. We
Hmm.
have to be careful in the sense means we have to train ourselves. If I'm using my smartphone, no
Hmm.
one is around me. Very, very few times my mom and my parents and my elders will come to me, don't use smartphone. Most of the time, my smartphone, this is a deal between me and my smartphone.
Yes. Hmm.
So I have to train myself, I
Hmm.
have to teach myself, and when we are able to teach ourselves that I have to be careful, I have to use it for a certain time only when I need it,
Hmm.
for the positive aspect only. So this is very good. This is very,
Hmm.
very, very good. But if we are not able to train our mind, so this is
Mm.
going to spoil life.
And because, yeah, I don't think, can do you think many of us youngsters especially would be able to train their mind, not until they're like up to the age of 30, 20, perhaps when they're in that career. It's not happening, is it?
They just get addicted to it and they could not
Exactly.
stop. Just like,
Mm.
consuming alcohol or smoking, they feel
Exactly.
like
It's the
this is
same.
bad. I want to
Mm.
quit it. But they cannot. Why? Because they are
Mm.
addicted. The
Yes.
same thing is like, same thing happens with a smartphone.
Mm.
They know I'm using this is for it. This is not supporting me. This is not beneficial for me. But
Hmm.
this is tomorrow I will definitely leave it. From
Yeah.
tomorrow onwards, I will
And
not use
then
it.
tomorrow
But
never
that
comes.
tomorrow never comes. That tomorrow
Exactly.
never comes.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Now, another concern I also have, I don't know how big it is in your country, but cyberbullying. How is that? Do you think a big problem now? Do you think we're looking,
Yes,
sort of this
yes.
is an issue
Yes.
that
No, no.
we need to
Because
be? Mm-hmm.
because you know every people is not educated, everyone
Yes.
is not literate. What
Mm-hmm.
happens, for example, if I'm not literate, I'm uneducated, and you are involved in such cases, you are involved in cybercrime, and you
Mm-hmm.
called me, hey Kabir, I'm calling from State Bank of India, and you have got
Mm-hmm.
some issues, so please, I'm sending you an OTP for the verification, could you please tell me the OTP? And,
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
get serious. Oh yes, really, because there my money is saved, and I'm
Yeah.
worried about my money. I
Mm-hmm.
kept my money to save it.
Yes.
And if somebody says like I'm calling from the bank, so I just immediately tell them my OTP. And once
Yeah.
I tell them my OTP, they
I
just
know. This is a nightmare, yes. And this is a big
and it
concern
happens.
now.
It
Yes.
happens.
Yeah, yeah. And it's happening on a quite a large scale. We don't realize how
Exactly.
often it is happening, but it is something of a big
I
problem.
have got so many calls. I have got
Mm-hmm.
so many calls. Like I'm
Yeah.
calling from there, I'm calling from the. You have won a lottery. You have won a lottery. You have to do this. You have to
Yes.
like, verify your bank.
Even like myself would sometimes get a bit excited. What have I won the lottery? Wow, and it does cross your mind, and you think, oh, maybe he's right. Maybe I'm just thinking that he's not right. It does cross your mind, doesn't it? I think it's
Yeah,
human nature. We just
yeah.
get attracted by something like that, not thinking about what it can do to us. But there we are. That's
When
how
I
we have
got
to be
the
careful.
first call or second call, that time I got excited. Oh, is it? Later I
Yeah,
got to know it was a scam.
scam.
After that, whenever I got a call, I start taking their class. Okay, just like
Yeah.
I spoke with them for a while. I just wanted to know how they speak to me.
Yes, exactly.
And
And
after a while, just I told them, come on, just let's try to somebody else.
yes, yeah. And when you start questioning them, then you can tell, and you can start they're staggering, and they're like, okay, yes, but this, that. Then it's sort of they know that the game's up, and we have to move on to someone else. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's moving on. How could the town where you live now is your where you live? Is it a town? Is it a city? What would it come under?
It's a city.
Okay, so it's a big city. So,
Yeah.
if there are any improvements where you in your neighborhood, or improvements would you like to see? Perhaps you're the new councillor of your area, and you're the mayor of your city now. And what changes would you like to
Okay.
make in this city?
I just want to improve the education system.
Okay, that's something important. You
We,
feel
we
that.
need it actually. And
Mm-hmm,
what we feel is we are lagging here.
mm-hmm,
If we become educated, so our generation definitely will be educated, and that will help the generation to develop.
mm-hmm,
And in this way we can grow. So education is most important, what I feel. And
mm-hmm.
here we have colleges, we have schools, but students, they do not get the proper education, the quality education
Mm-hmm.
that they need actually. So I
Okay.
think I would be focusing there mostly because I'm living in a state where, yeah, infrastructure is good, but poverty is there as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But first of all, we need to make people educated.
Yes, that's the key. The key to everything. But can I ask you though, who is to blame for this then? Who did I? Okay, I know we talk about governments. Is it because they're not really interested in promoting their country by giving education, or they just don't want people to get educated? I'm sorry, I'm saying this in regard to Pakistan as well. I
No, so
feel, I feel that even in Pakistan, there's a lot. The education system isn't good, and there are a very big rate of illiteracy. And is it because the government doesn't want them to be educated? Because then they'll be fighting against the government, thinking that, well, now we realize you've been messing us around for so many years, and now it's time to fight back. Is it because of that? Why is this taken? I
no,
mean, they
actually,
say,
what happens, we the common people are told at the time of election that if you
mm,
vote for me, then I
yeah,
would do this thing after the election.
exactly, yeah.
But when they win the election, they forget about these things.
Exactly, that's what happens, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, when it comes to education, then do you think it's just the fact they do suppress, these
Sorry?
governments? The governments actually suppress then the public so that they don't get the education, so that they can go ahead and think for themselves. Do you think that's also why we?
I particularly, I don't think in this way.
Okay, okay.
I couldn't say like this.
Right. Okay. Then that's just.
Because
No, I think I'm thinking of.
everyone is not corrupted. A
Yeah.
few
Okay.
people are out there. They want our country
To develop.
to develop and
Hmm.
to see at a good position.
Hmm.
But yeah, a few people out there, they just are corrupted.
Yeah. Hmm. So
So
they don't
I
want
don't
to.
want to mention their name,
Yes,
being
of
an
course.
Indian.
Where do the thing is, where do we start? That's the thing we can say. Where do we start? It's just one of those things that,
Yeah.
unfortunately, with the third world countries, is prevalent, and it's something that we just have to accept. I think. I think
Mm,
at this point of time, I think we just have to get on with it. There's nothing that we can do.
yes.
Okay, but that's going into politics, which we don't want to do. That's
Exactly.
leaving that to one side. Anyway,
Okay.
again, it's a pleasure. We've got 10 seconds left, and I
Yes.
hope to chat to you again. Perhaps we can have a
Same
further
here. I will
discussion.
try.
All
Okay.
right.
Take
All the
care.
best. Take care of yourself. Okay. Bye
Enjoy
bye.
your time.
Thank you. You too. Bye.